Imagine you're on an island, isolated away from all of the world, and you start hearing sounds in the middle of the night that sound like whales or something dark. And your father starts acting really weird and starts taking offerings out into the ocean. What would you do? Let's figure it out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and an unboxing of Synapse's new 4K release of The Block Island Sound. And this is one that came out in 2020 by the McManus brothers, who have done other stuff and have worked with quite a few people that I'll tell you about here shortly. But this movie is one of those ones that a lot of people liked or did not like or missed altogether because of the name, I think, possibly. But this is one of those underrated gems that I think you might want to check out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you my spoiler-free thoughts on this movie, and then afterwards I'm going to do an unboxing to tell you all the special features and everything that are included with this release from Synapse. It comes out December 10th. I'll put some links down below if you want to pick it up for yourself, but let's get into it. So yeah, the Block Island Sound. It sounds kind of like New Jersey, like house music or something. That's what I thought when I first heard it. I almost skipped over it the year that I watched, and I think I watched it at the tail end of the year. Now, this is a movie that is definitely going for indie, but looks really good. Like, this looks like a big budget film, but it is not. It's just a very talented film made by the McManus brothers, who, by the way, are also producers and produced the movies 13 cameras, 14 cameras, and 15 cameras, which even the star of those movies is in this movie, and boy is he unsettling. So what is this movie all about? Well, it's essentially about this small island off the coast of Rhode Island where this guy and his father live. His father is starting to act up in the middle of the night and sleepwalk his way. At first, they think it's like dementia or, alcoholism, but he just keeps forgetting where he is and acting really strange. And soon that turns to violence and things start going missing. When they find out that something else is going on, one of the other family members gets wrapped up into this whole Lovecraftian crazy madness. Now, it is loosely Lovecraftian, and I don't want you guys to go into this movie thinking, oh, it's going to be tentacles and crazy things all over the screen and people are going to just get eaten. A lot of people in their minds, like when they hear Lovecraft, they immediately go to like The Thing or In the Mouth of Madness. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I love those movies. But there are other versions of Lovecraft that deal with madness and dread on a budget. And oftentimes, and let's face it, Lovecraft is an expensive movie to make. It's not easy because it's so epic and grand scale a lot of times. There are smaller, condensed stories that make sense and there's ways around it, but you're always working with trying to do a movie that makes it look big, but deal with the budget. And I'm not saying that because this movie is very well shot, very well acted. It's not like some shoestring necessarily budget, even though they said it was made on fairly little. It looks like a big budget film. It's just not going to have all that practical effects that you guys love so much. And that's okay, because this movie oozes, really oozes with dread and just this something's lurking around every corner. The characters that are in this movie, like I was mentioning about the guy from the 13 to 14 and 15 cameras, his name is Neville Archambault. He is in this movie and he plays a really good unsettling role as the father. And when he starts to lose it, you feel uncomfortable. There's also Jim Cummings in this movie, who a lot of people are big fans of in the sort of indie to mainstream kind of fandom. He's in this as a conspiracy nut that's friends with the guy's father's son. The younger son is kind of like helping his father. He's, older, but he's been living with his father and kind of dealing with a lot of the stuff that they think is dementia. But things get pretty haywire, and when it starts affecting the son, it's pretty maddening. Now, the end of the movie is actually really good. There is some waiting to get to that end, but the suspense, the dread is all carried along with the acting, the mystery, and also some of the sound design and music. The score in this movie, amazing. It really just is a phenomenal job of making this indie film feel so thick with dread. I personally think that's really awesome. And, I have to give smaller Lovecraftian vibe movies a little bit of a chance. It's not, on the nose Lovecraft here, guys, but it is definitely within that vein. I liked a lot of the characters in this movie. It is interesting to see them kind of unravel. The son is pretty good. Jim Cummings is really good. Neville Archambault is really great. The sisters are really fantastic in this movie. Just a lot going on that starts to kind of unravel as time goes on. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a slow burn, but if you're expecting In the Mouth of Madness or The Thing levels, yeah, this isn't going to be that movie. But if you got an imagination a little bit and, with a payoff by the end, this might be a really good pick for you because it's very well shot, very well handled. The first time I watched it, I was kind of a little bit lower score, but the second time now that I've watched it, I'm happy to say this is at least a 7 or 7.5. Man, I just wish they had more money and what they could do. I would love to see what they could do on a bigger budget, but within the budget that they did so much. Working on the water ain't easy, and they have a segment in the extras that I'll talk about here shortly that talks about that. I think this is a pretty good movie, very atmospheric, very dreadful. It's definitely a little bit more on the indie scale, but not on anything that you would notice. This definitely does not feel like an art house film with a real good vibe about it. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to go over the features on this film. It's coming out December 10th, like I said, from Synapse. I'm going to put links down below for you to pick it up if you'd like. And of course, we'll go over the features now. So let's get into it. All right, so the Block Island Sound, this isn't the original cover, but I think it looks really good. You can kind of see the guy from he's upside down a little bit. You can kind of see his face. Here's the side and the back if you want to pause it. This is 235:1 aspect ratio. It is HDR10. The Block Island Sound, this is the original cover. I did not know what to think this was. When I saw this, I was like, oh, is this like a DJ music movie or something like that? So when I saw it, I was kind of caught off guard when I watched it, but it's actually really good. Let's see, we got the inside here, which comes with the catalog for 2025 for Synapse, and just that disc right there, and we'll go over the extras. You do have the reverse cover, which I showed you, but you also have the other side here too. Now, as far as the extras, you do get an audio commentary with the directors, Kevin and Matthew McManus. They got the original trailer in here, a practical apocalypse, which is like a segment on that. Finding the cast, they talk about how he had known some of the characters were going to be and play the roles, but they still had to try out kind of thing. They have filming on the water, which is that segment I was talking about. Special effects on a shoestring budget, essentially. We also have Los Angeles behind the scenes Super 8mm and the McManus family home videos. So that is the full release there. Again, if you want to pause it there you go. It looks, by the way, fantastic. As far as 4K goes, the HDR10 really works really well here. I have a really good player for it, and the deep blacks really work well in this kind of movie. It definitely is one that needed the HDR because there are a lot of dark scenes in this movie. So seeing it in 4K makes a huge difference in it. Not all scenes are dark, and when they're bright, they're super bright, outside. It really shines in the bright stuff, and it really holds the blacks nice and deep in the dark parts. So really looked really good to me. But yeah, I would love to hear what you think about the Block Island Sound. Is this a movie that you're going to pick up, or have you seen it before? What did you think of this film, and how do you feel about Lovecraftian films? Thank you again, Synapse and MVD Entertainment, for sending this out to me. Really greatly appreciate that. I think it's a really good release. The extras, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but I think it's sufficient. So, you know, if you want to pick it up, links down below. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate all your support on this channel. We got another sort of Lovecraftian style movie coming, so we'll be talking about that soon here too. But thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.